Hey up and welcome to Late Leeds Show. This is Series 1, Episode 2. Last week's show went a bit under the radar, but it's always going to take a while to build up something new. At least I hope that's the case. This week I'm joined by the midweek fix crew in Joe, JT and Max. Welcome to the show, lads. How you doing?
It's good, man. Glad to be here. Glad to be on the debut. Never thought I'd make it. You know, this guy said, I'll never have you on my channel, you dirty little peasant.
Well,
and would you believe it? 5 months later, look what's happened.
Climbed the ladder. Leeds United 3, Chelsea 0. So we're going to kick it off with something that happened before the game. Marsch wasn't very happy that Tuchel was present. Said in the week leading up as well that if he's got a red card, he shouldn't be there. And then in the pre-match interview said he wasn't best happy that he was there because he believes that if you get a red card, you should have a suspension and he shouldn't be able to appeal it either. So Marsch has got that in him, and that little bit of fire, that little bit of shithousery, I want to say, which Bielsa was obviously, there's always going to be this comparison. Bielsa kept himself to himself. He never dug out a referee, never dug out any other managers, really. Whereas Marsch, he seems to be the opposite of that. He seems to love the clashing. So he made his opinion very clear. What did we think of that?
I love it, mate. Like, I can't lie. I loved it when he ran. I think in the back of his mind, he's thinking, I'm going to give Tuchel a bit of his own.
Yeah,
he did
that's
something
exactly
similar,
what
didn't
I thought. Yeah, against Spurs, yeah.
Even when the third goes in and he throws the bottle on the floor and that, I'm like, I love a bit of that, man. Yeah. And it gets the crowd going. It gets the crowd going, that stuff. And I think he will get into it. We've already seen it with Bruno Lage. He had little words for Tuchel, which would have got Tuchel's back up. And it's them little games that you can win that can actually have an impact on the football pitch as well, you know. So
I absolutely love it. As you say, you can't beat shithousery. I mean, he had it coming to him. He thought he could grips up man left, right, and centre, trying to pull Conte out for a romantic wine and dine, looking him in the eye. Well, you don't know where I'm from, dog.
You don't know where I'm from, dog.
So you don't do that to the Bronx, born and bred.
It gets Leeds fans riled up for it. It's the same sort of thing as when a Leeds player goes in for a big tackle and the crowd gets up. Stuff like that builds hype for a game. And like Joe said about people thinking it was talking too much last season, and it can go one of two ways. If you're winning games, everyone's like, yes, stick it to them. Like you winding them up pre-game. Mental games and stuff. If you're losing, people start to say, what are you doing? Stick to the football. But as long as we're winning, I'm happy with him doing stuff like that because it just makes it more entertaining. Like, football, at the end of the day, is entertainment for us. And if someone can wind up the opposition or have little comments, little digs, which actually I think is fair comment and something he was probably morally annoyed about. The fact that if you get a red card, a player gets a red card, they're banned for the next game. Doesn't matter. They appeal it afterwards. And so I understand why he was annoyed at that. And I think it's sometimes Marsch is like, it's a moral thing for him. And he likes to stand for the right thing.
Not that it made a difference. First goal then. Brendan Aaronson, or Brendan Aaronson as JT nicely put it. No one else is chasing that ball down.
Brendan Aaronson, the Source Demon, the heel nipper. He's there, man, like Norman Bite Your Legs Hunter. May he
Do you think it comes back to that zonal marking then?
He's had
that
comes back to
into his head straight away. Just
it is. He knows what
Marsch 9
times
wants. Out of 10, he's not getting that ball.
I think Jesse actually said. I think Jesse actually said that he told Aaronson specifically to chase down keepers and to just put them under pressure. I think it was in his post-match press conference. And I think he said, I literally told him, like, sometimes you might get the ball, so just press the keeper and just see if they make a mistake.
Brendan Aaronson basically fully gambled. That's what Marsch had told him to do. He told him to fully gamble. You see, the first time, he thinks he's going to clear it. So instead of jockeying him and playing it patiently and expecting him to Cruyff turn it, he goes diving in to block it initially. Then the second that doesn't happen, he goes sprinting straight for him again. Kind of the thing you're told not to do. You're told as a defender to sit back, kind of marshal them away, not overcommit. But that's what he wanted for him. Didn't give up.
Yeah, Aaronson, love him, mate. He's not my favourite player. That's saved for another American within the first 11, but I can see why he's a lot of people's favourite players, and for him to just adjust to come from Salzburg and adjust as quick as he has, to the Premier League is exceptional. I think Patrick Bamford said on the podcast how he looked at him and thought, wow, this kid's thin, he's small, he's slight. I'm not quite sure. And then after one training session, he knew we meant business. And, I agree with what JT said, the quality that he did when he actually made that move to get that ball. Because a lot of people, and I think, I know he meant it tongue-in-cheek, but there's a lot to be said about Dan. He just ran it out of play, genuinely. They just ran in or they made a foul. And that was my main concern at first, because I was like, because keepers are protected, but the way that he did it, it was just perfect, man. The only thing missing from it was him getting on his knees and rolling it in with his head.
Can you imagine how nervous you'd be, though, to mess that up? When
you're
on the line and you're just like, it's my first goal for this club. It's the Premier League. It's against Chelsea. Like, if you were like 3-0 up, you'd do that and you'd probably backheel it in or something. But can you imagine how nervous you'd be?
To be fair,
oh my God, it'd be the worst thing
ever
if I missed this.
He did enough, though.
Because... that was saucy, though. The little look away, no look.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had Chelsea fans on strings.
Sometimes less is more.
Let's move on to the second goal then. Another set piece. Jackie Harrison whips it in. Rodrigo beats Rhys James. Little nod. 2-0 within, 3-4 minutes? Joe, obviously you were watching live on the watch-along. You said, let's make it 2. Let's make it 2. And your prayers were answered. What's your thought process going into half-time after that goal? Are you thinking... we're going to see this out, or are you thinking...
I was always concerned because it was Chelsea. As much as JT's throwing shade and that is Chelsea. Yeah, they're no mugs, are they? So I was a little bit concerned. I think the bench, I didn't rate their bench, and that gave me a little bit of positivity. I think if they're starting with, they have Kante and Kovacic on the bench, maybe it's a little bit different, but they were both out, so you've got to take your wins where you can. But yeah, listen, I think I was concerned, obviously, because if they get one, bro, then you're like, oh God, you know what I mean? And obviously they do have great individual players within the squad, but just Leeds just never took the foot off them, mate. They were just on them, from minute one, and you know what? It got to a stage where they look beat. The Chelsea players look beat. Like it was like we can't.
Well, Tuchel said, didn't he, that they'd lost the game after 20 minutes.
The heads really went. Rhys James's head went first out of anyone because nothing was going his way. And then I noticed that Thiago Silva was absolutely grilling him, like screaming at him, and James was getting annoyed about it. And then obviously...
they had an argument, didn't they? They clashed after that second goal. They were going at each other.
And Jack Harrison was winding him up a little bit before that, so he was already annoyed. And then Thiago Silva's had a go at him, and I think his head went because he can be one of their most dangerous players, especially when they're playing that new tactic that they sort of have. Rhys James on the right side of centre back and Loftus-Cheek as almost a wing back, but they almost just go together as a two to create an overload. But because Rhys James's head had gone, he just wasn't really in the game after that point, apart from that one good shot that he had that Meslier pulled off a really good save. So I think their heads just went after. They were just like, oh my God, we weren't expecting to be losing.
The ball is the main thing, though. The delivery of the ball, it's got such whip on it and such dip and power. It's perfectly placed that Rodrigo, all he has to do is glide it. All he has to do is put the direction on it. He doesn't have to get the power on it.
His movement, gentle flick. His movement. Across the movement. Everything.
Like a samba dancer.
Straight off the training ground, man. Goal number 3.
That pass from Rodrigo to Dan James. Some people are saying, oh, he just whacked it down the line and Dan James was good enough to catch it, fast enough to catch up with it. That was actually a really good pass because it was outside of the foot. And he was outside of the foot though, and he put spin on it so that it wouldn't go out and so it would just hold up enough for him to get there. I think it was a really clever pass. He obviously passed it and then he made that sprint into the box, which I think is showing more desire than we've really seen from him before at least. But playing in that number 9 role, he's like, I'm going to get in the box. So I think when he played that pass and made that run, I was like, right, Rodrigo's on it.
James obviously whips the ball in. We think Rodrigo's going for goal, probably, yeah. Jack Harrison.
Gets
his reward for the effort he put into the whole game. He was on fire this game. Workhorse, man, and he just got that. Joe, what did you think of Harrison's game as a whole?
Yeah, I think for me he's been our best player this season. I know Rodrigo will get a lot of plaudits for the goals, and rightly so, but I think for me, Jack Harrison's been, and I'm so impressed, so happy for him. And it's like now Rafinha and Calvin's gone, he's literally said, I'm the main boy now. I'm the top dog.
Well, it's poetry really, isn't it? Because he scored that goal
just everyone's playing with confidence at the minute, man. This is what I'm saying. It's like that cross for Rodrigo. He's gone to have a shot, but because everything's working for us currently, it just falls into Harrison's path. You know, when things are going well, they're going well, and he deserved this goal. I think there was only him and De Bruyne that created or have created up to 11 chances in the first 2 weeks of a Premier League season or something. He's like, his numbers are off the charts at the minute, and for him to get another assist and a goal, and he's just going to get more. Like now, like's been said, when I see us line up for set pieces, I know we've got an opportunity to score. Like genuinely,
his delivery is so good as well, isn't it?
Both of them, both stood over it, Harrison and Aaronson. Like their names are so close to one another. But
we haven't had that. We haven't had that for so long. Like we talk about, I talk about the fact that every time Aaronson gets the ball, he drives forward, and 2 out of 3 times you can see a dangerous chance coming. It's the same with set pieces now. Like we haven't had that in so long. Every corner we've ever got in the past 3-4 years.
Oh, it's like a penalty, bro, to the other team.
All I'm thinking is just beat the first man. Just beat the first man. Just beat the first man and I'm happy. Third goal goes in and the place erupts. But it's been like that all day, man. I was speaking to a few of the old guard and they said it were, I say old guard, people who were around in the 90s. They said it was something straight out of a 30-year time capsule, Ellen Road. The fact it's Leeds against Chelsea, Premier League, Ellen Road, you've got the cop doing let's go fucking mental, like literally bouncing different level the other day. I've never seen it like that ever.
I think the only thing that I can compare it to is when we scored those 2 goals really fast against Scum.
Even then though, no, because that was more of a, after that it was like everyone were in shock more than anything.
What about the Derby game?
No.
Beginning of the first half of the Derby game?
No, because the limbs, I'm not talking about the limbs because the limbs are just standard. We do limbs any goal. But afterwards, the way the ground just took off, every single stand in unison doing let's go fucking mental is unseen. Unheard of, man.
Yeah.
It was different gravy.
Let's go fucking mental! Let's go fucking mental!
And like I say, I spoke to a few of the old guard around me and they were saying, I haven't seen nothing like this since mid-early 90s. This is, other than South Stand, because South Stand are just consistently balmy and cheese wedge, for the whole ground to be like that, it was surreal to be there in that moment. And then obviously you've got the result on top of that, the level you're playing at, the quality you're playing against, the whole old enemy, old rivalry stuff. And that atmosphere, I think I can hands down say, is the best Ellen Road atmosphere I've ever been involved in. So Ellen Road obviously bouncing, 3-0 up, and then the day just gets worse for Chelsea. Gets worse because Koulibaly, he gets shown a red card.
Time to go. Time to go.
The cherry on top, man. It was just
it started somewhere in the ground and then it just slowly spread through the whole ground. And just as he was walking down the tunnel, everyone just went, fuck off.
It's not a Leeds v Chelsea meaty game, like end-to-end game like it was without that cherry on top red card. So that wraps up the Chelsea review. And now it's time to mock the league. Welcome to Mock the League. This is where we take a backseat from talking about Leeds United and mock all the funny goings on in the Premier League. Starting off with the picture round, I'm going to show you a picture and you're going to tell me what's happening in this picture. What's happening in this picture?
Is it the Manchester United fans protesting outside Parliament in their hometown of London?
Clever.
All Leeds TV protesting the transfers of two of their top presenters.
Yeah, what you can't see on the rest of that picture, on the bottom of that sign, it says, "But we will accept wife beaters and rapists."
Jesus.
Man United fans after the board hire Prince Andrew as head of youth development.
Oh God.
So on the front of the banner, it obviously says we cannot trust snakes and liars. But on the back of the banner, funnily enough, it says, but win one game and our process expires.
Moment silence, please. Just, yeah. That wraps up the picture round. Can anybody tell me what's actually going on in that picture?
Is it the protest?
Which protest?
Against the Glazers?
Against the Glazers. Before the Liverpool game, yeah. When they were all meant to stand outside. All the people stood outside, however, missed a 2-1 victory against Liverpool. That's right. Erik ten Hag had them players in the gym this week. Does anybody know what Harry Maguire can bench? 96 minutes. In other news, Frank Lampard's Everton got another whiff of defeat.
Jesus.
Now you're talking my language, son.
But ultimately managed to scrape a point against Nottingham Forest. But ultimately, yeah, well done. But we're going to talk about Everton's neighbours anyway, obviously briefly mentioned. Liverpool, brief discussion. Obviously, they sold Mane, Nunez is suspended, and no win in their first 3.
Yeah, I think they'll be totally fine, mate. They do need to do some business. They do need some midfielders because a lot of them are cropped. But listen, it's Liverpool. They'll be totally fine. If you insert Konate or Matip into that back line, they don't concede 10 goals. I thought Joe Gomez was really poor. Quite surprised, actually. But listen, Liverpool have got Bournemouth up next. I'm even considering triple captain in Salah. So trust me, they'll come back. And when they do come back, they'll come back with a bang and someone will get a spanking. So
look, the last time that you considered doing something in your FPL, it didn't go down.
Oh no, it didn't. It didn't, mate. Harrison was on the bench and I had Cucurella and James in, so there you go.
Yeah, they have to, don't they? They're just too good not to. The players are too good. Like they've only really lost Mane, and obviously they had Diaz and Jota already in there as long-term replacements. So they're going to be fine, aren't they? They're going to start winning at some point. Everybody thought, we're talking about Arsenal going down last season and they finished 5th in the end. So like it doesn't last forever with those clubs, does it? It's very, very rare that something like that happens. And I just don't think it's likely.
Moving on to round 2 of Mock the League. If this is the answer, what is the question? Your answer is 0.73. What is the question? Joe?
Is it how far Jamie Carragher can spit?
Is it how many seconds after the final whistle in the Liverpool Man United game on Monday night did Scum fans take their green and gold off?
Clever.
Is it the average amount of tea for Scum season ticket holder has?
Is it Harry Maguire's top speed in miles per hour?
Going back to Harry Maguire.
In square miles, is it how visible Harry Maguire's forehead is from space?
Why is it 2 in a row? Maguire, man?
What percentage of children have ever escaped Thomas Tuchel's basement? Allegedly.
Allegedly. just to put it out there.
Yeah.
In gigabytes, how much free space does Joe's GFX guy have on his hard drive?
Hey, shout out.
What a guy. Love that.
Is it the average age of Adam Johnson's girlfriend?
Ooh.
Is it the longest time Patrick Bamford has actually been fit for in the last 12 months?
Oh, poor
We laugh, but we're all sad.
Yeah, I literally went from laughing to oh.
You literally did a Frank Lampard, like.
I know.
No, but seriously.
Oh, shit. Please. That sums up round 2 of Mock the League. If this is the answer, what is the question? Can anybody tell me what the correct question was for 0.73?
Is it the XG that Chelsea had against us on Sunday?
Yes, it was indeed Chelsea's XG. Super Sunday saw Chelsea's goalkeeper become just the second Mendy to slip up in recent months. And Newcastle had their biggest bust up since Bowyer and Dyer. Straight in the nose. Round 3 is scenes we'd like to see. This week, it's excuses you wouldn't be surprised to hear from Jurgen Klopp. Joe.
The ball was too round.
They were powered up by the moving words of Ryan Giggs.
Fuck's sake, man.
Someone made me laugh and my players were blinded by my teeth. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
I like that. The grass was too green.
Is every single joke just going to be this thing was too thin?
I literally wrote that one down today and then deleted it.
Someone looked at Klopp saying the pitch was too high and gone, the ball was too round. The
Yeah,
too
exactly.
green. The sky was too blue. The sky's too blue. It's gonna be. JT.
Hello, yeah. This is not my fault. Bobby is about as consistent as an LUFC Lewis upload schedule, yeah?
You sound like the pigs from Shrek.
So, we are pigs. Pigs in the blanket, yeah? Yeah. So, this is funny then, yeah? Yeah. This is funny, yeah. Yep, that's a good one.
I can't lie, I love that. That was good, bro. I like that. I really like that.
It was.
My team just ran out of gas today.
It's not. That's not going in. You get cancelled straight up without a second of consideration. Get cancelled.
That was savage, you know. That was savage.
So bad.
The NHS won't prescribe a high-performance athletes with any more inhalers. It's a disgrace.
I'm laughing more at the German accent. It was so bad.
Arteta kept distracting my players into checking their shorts for stains. He kept saying, gracias.
These are brutal.
This is Joe last week, man. Everyone's got to experience
That one's good. Fuck you. That one's good.
That was good last week, you cheeky bastard.
Thank yourself, Max. Thank yourself. So that wraps up this week's Mock the League. We've had a lot of fun, as per. Hope you enjoyed. And now we're going to move on to a little brief conversation about Jesse Marsch, because I said after the 3-0 win against Chelsea, just sounds good to say, that this was his Stoke game. Bielsa had the Stoke game, and that's where he won the fans over completely, showed us what he was about and what was to come. Obviously, Bielsa won a lot of people over anyway, just with his name and his reputation before he come in, but I feel like the 3-0 win against Chelsea in the Premier League, truly being able to see what Marsch's system and what he is about, won him the fans over. Because I feel like before that game, people were in sort of 3 camps. The Bielsa camp, a lot of people were still completely clinging on to Bielsa. The camp where they completely backed Jesse, and the camp where they were yet to be fully convinced. They were halfway there, but they were yet to be fully convinced. And I feel like now most people are in one camp where he's won the people over with this result. It was a complete performance. You get to see how his system worked completely. You get the clean sheet, everything. So I just wanted to ask if you agree with that comparison, that this was Bielsa's Stoke game. This was Marsch's Stoke game, the Chelsea game. We'll start with Joe.
For me, you know, I guess was on that thing of, you should have never got rid of Bielsa, etc. I wasn't keen on Jesse, so I guess it's a good point to good way to start. And for me, like he had that opinion has changed. You know what I mean? This was his Stoke moment. I thought we'd started the season well anyway, but like this rubber stamps it.
Yeah.
The personnel that he's brought in, the tactics that are being deployed. I've had people say to me it's better football. Not having that by any stretch of the imagination. It's not, and that's facts. I'm loving it right now, mate. Long may it continue. I genuinely think top 10's a realistic possibility for us. Yeah.
JT?
You got a new season, you cleaned a slate under it, and everyone was like, give him his preseason, see how he does. A lot of hate for him in preseason, actually. And now I think this has woken up the general football world as well, not just Leeds fans, in that a lot of people, because he's American in the way that he speaks, they've been all on him. They've been saying that he's dead food. They've been saying Leeds are dead food. And that's just kind of showed them, you know what? He does know what he's talking about a bit, and he has got some solid tactics. And the press, works. It works very well. People thought we were going to be playing some dead anti-passive football, but we actually play exciting football, like you say, not the same as Bielsa, but intense.
When he first came in, he had that period where everyone was just like, does he even know what he's doing? Because it didn't look like we had a plan at all. But there was all the stuff on YouTube of him talking about his tactics and seminars that he'd done for young coaches and stuff, talking about all these tactics. And we were like, well, we can't see them. What's going on here? Why can't we see any of them? But we started to see them in the Cagliari game, and then the Wolves game, the Southampton game, the Chelsea game. It's been getting better and better until it peaked in that Chelsea game, and we were able to beat a side who won the Champions League 2 years ago. And whatever you say about them, they have good players. They have world-class players in their team. They've signed some really good signings, to be honest, and we made them look silly. We made Koulibaly look silly, who's been highly rated as one of the best defenders in Europe for the last few years. We made him look a mug and got him sent off because he couldn't handle our players and our press. So I think it was just that moment showing that this can actually work and does work in the Premier League, and we beat a really good opposition with it. Brilliant moment for Marsch and for the fans' opinions of him.
There's more to speak about where the Chelsea game's concerned. It's not just about Marsch. It's not just about the atmosphere. It's not just about the scoreline. We need to delve deeper into the stats and the more obscure numbers. And to do that, it's time for Mastermind. Welcome to Mastermind. Obviously, Joe and Max, you were on last week, but debut for JT. So last week, what happened was everybody got 10 questions. There was the season so far, there was Southampton away, and there was Chelsea at home, the 3 topics. And I let people choose based on who I found funnier in Mock the League. We're not going to do that this week. We're going to change things up. What we're going to do is we're going to let Joe go first because he went last week. Max, you're going to go last because you went first last week. And JT, with the debut, we're going to put you slap bang in the middle. And how this works is I'm going to give you 3 topics. And obviously the order in which I've put you in, you get to choose them topics. And this week's topics are completely and utterly based on the Chelsea 3-0 win. You've got goals, stats, and substitutions. Joe, what topic would you like?
So I think goals is what I want, but I reckon that'll be actually quite difficult because it's a bit like a red herring. As for the substitutions, I can't even remember the 5 that came on. I'm going to have to take goals, mate. I'm going to take goals.
Okay, so you're going with goals. As you know, there's no timer. But this week, I will tell you on the spot if you've got it right or wrong. Okay. And I'll also tell you the right answer.
Right, okay.
Cool. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Question 1. Which 2 players linked up twice for our second and third goals?
It's Rodrigo and Harrison.
Correct. Who assisted Raheem Sterling's disallowed goal in the 15th minute?
I think it might have been Mason Mount.
That's wrong. It's Cucurella. Leeds took the lead through Brendan Aaronson on which minute?
32.
It's 33.
Ah,
But when you watch the game,
32
on 32.
No.
You got to give me that, bro. You got to give me
That's
that.
a technical. I don't know about that one.
But because
give me
obviously
that.
it's closer to 33, it gets classed as 33. Do we?
No, I don't know, mate. It's the 33.
If it's anything past, if it's anything past 32, it means it's the 33rd minute. That's how it works in football. Like the first minute
not
is
allowing it. It's not having it.
I know I'm gonna get.
Do you know
I'm
what?
going last. So
Mastermind,
I've got
Mastermind is a very, very harsh show, and I don't like. Last week he said 2002. It was 2001. I didn't give you that, so if it's,
no,
I can't give you it. I can't give you it.
No, that's fine.
33. Question 4. Rodrigo beat which Chelsea defender to put us 2-0 up?
Rhys James.
Correct. Mentioned earlier in the show, so good.
I was
good
listening.
job taking
I was listening. Yeah.
Who crossed the ball in for our 3rd goal?
Dan James.
Correct. 3 out of 5. JT, what topic would you like?
What were the other 2?
Stats and substitutions.
Go for substitutions.
So that leaves Max with stats. He'll love that, will Max? He's a stats man. He'll love stats. No, it's no. Okay.
after last week.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, so you ready?
Yeah.
Question 1. Who made the first substitution? Leeds or Chelsea?
Leeds.
Correct. Who did Chelsea bring on for Conor Gallagher?
Not got all day, sunshine.
Pulisic.
It was indeed Pulisic. How many substitutions
Win-win.
did Chelsea make on the 64th minute?
1.
2.
Damn.
Which minute did Luis Sinistera, who scored against Barnsley tonight, who have just knocked them out of the cup 3-1, which minute did he come on for Leeds?
67.
70.
Puta!
Which substitution did Chelsea make after Koulibaly's red card?
As Peliqueta came on.
For who?
Raheem Sterling. Because that's my guy, bro. Don't take my dog off. Don't take my dog off the pitch. Don't even look at me slowly like that ain't facts. You know Raheem Sterling came off. I know Raheem Sterling came off. And I know they brought a defender on. So don't even try and play me.
It's right.
It's right.
3 out of 5. But you weren't looking in our direction when he said that. It's just...
It's like he conveniently thought for half an hour before saying Pulisic.
No, the weather.
Matt, stats. Joe and JT currently tied at 3 each. So
it's finished with them 2 in joint first place.
Leeds covered how much more distance than Chelsea in kilometres?
11 kilometres.
It's wrong. It was 11 kilometres at the highest it got.
10.67.
10.5 is what it went down.
So we round up then, don't we? When it's a 0.5.
Yeah.
Exactly half of Leeds' 12 shots were on target. True or false?
True. 12 shots, 6 on target.
Correct.
Well done, mate.
Chelsea had over 20% more possession than Leeds. True or false?
Leeds had 39, they had 61.
Yep, it is correct. True. 2 out of 3 so far. How many times were Chelsea offside?
7.
That's right. Leeds committed 16 fouls. How many yellow cards did they get?
Oh, 2.
It's not 2. But because you are now all on 3, I'm going to go around and see who gets it right. We'll start with Joe. Leeds committed 16 fouls. How many yellow cards did they get?
None.
Oh, he's done it. He's done
Well,
it.
that's not fair. He got
Yeah,
the
he goes
first
first,
question.
man. He goes first.
Why? What the hell?
Cry about it. Cry about it.
Come
Joe,
on, Pushkers. He
Joe,
gets the easiest of
mastermind.
questions and then he gets at these.
Joe
Come
has
on,
won
man.
Mastermind. He's won Mastermind. Joe's won Mastermind. There we go. He's made the comeback after last week. Bosh. There we go. Adding it to his millionaire win.
Yeah,
He wins
Where's
League
that?
2.
I hope that person comments now.
Brighton up next, obviously Brighton away. Brief preview of that. Just want to know the same questions as last week. Do you keep the same lineup? Do you change it? What's the crack, Joe?
Based on the fact that Sinisterra
Mm-hmm.
scored tonight and was involved in the build-up for both the other goals, I think I want to see him starting soon, and I would drop James. Just my preference. It feels like I've got an agenda against James, but I think Brighton comes too soon for that.
Okay.
But the fact he got 60 minutes against Barnsley, it's coming. But no, for me, even though Cooper played 45, for me, we need continuity. Keep it as it is. Everyone's performing really well. Don't mess. You don't fix what's not broken. And for me, at the minute, it's not broken, so don't even touch it.
Yeah, I agree with Joe because that continuity thing is a big thing that we've lacked over the last couple of seasons, especially last season with all the injuries we had, and we never had a solid defence that was always there week in, week out. And so I think it's important to keep that continuity going. Like Joe said, I would like to see Sinisterra play a bit more, but maybe he gets on in the 60th minute and plays the last half an hour or something, sees what he can do against a little bit more of a tired Brighton team. But I would like to see the team unchanged to start. Because, like Joe said, that continuity is so important in the Premier League. You look at a team like Brighton, and there's not that much chopping and changing that goes on with them, and that's why they do tend to do okay in these sorts of fixtures. So, yeah, I'm hoping for a similar team and a good result down there.
I mean, look, maybe you could bring Sinisterra in. Sourceville, I think Sourceville needs a run in from what I saw in that Barnsley game today. And I also think that I want to see maybe Gallagher get a little bit more time. Otherwise, you got to start with the same 11 for me. You got to start Rodders up front. Rodrigo going to score again. Going to get himself closer towards that Ballon d'Or. Going to smack him, man. Going to smack their teeth down their skull. It's going to be a beautiful 4-0 victory, Leeds United.
Okay, well, you've jumped the gun with a prediction.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. You've kicked it off. We'll come to you, Max. What's your prediction? I want a score on it this time as well.
1-1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think a result away against Brighton is a step forward because we've struggled against them in the past. I think they're a good side. They're solid at the back. I don't think our set pieces will be as strong as they are against other teams against Brighton because it is like land at the Giants in their back line. So I think we'll create a chance through open play and score, but I don't think we'll have enough to keep them out from a set piece. Actually, but I think it's going to be 1-1 away at Brighton.
I would say 1-1 as well. I would say 1-1. Danny Welbeck's got a pretty decent record against us. He started the season well, so be interesting to see how we get on against him. But yeah, I do think the game will end a draw. And do you know what, Lewis? I take a point every day of the week considering our record.
You take a point from all your away games, man.
Exactly. And then we stuff Everton and Lampard, don't we, at home on the Wednesday? So easy does it.
Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope you keep coming back. Hope the viewership keeps rising as you get an idea of what the show is, if you like it. Make sure to like the video if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Get your notification bell on so you don't miss your weekly fix of fun and all the other content that I've got coming out. Joe, what have you got going on the Just Joe football show?
So it'll be just plenty of game day content, mate, over the weekend. Obviously, the Prem preview on the Friday, and then, as I say, Saturday will heavily be Leeds Brighton chat, and then we'll do some watch-alongs on the Sunday. So keep it locked. Thank you for having me, and I think it's a great show, so make sure you watch, folks.
Cheers, man. All the channel links will be in the description. JT Live as well. What have you got coming up?
Well, South Stand signings coming for your ass very, very soon. Make sure you stay up to date with all of that because, boy, I am getting information funneled into my ear, left, right, and center, and there is so much happening. Oh, my God. It is going to be popping off this next week. So make sure you stay tuned for that. There's going to be another live stream coming this weekend. There is going to be, obviously, a lot of content geared towards the big game on the weekend against the Seagulls. There is going to be, obviously, the week of football coming up. However, there won't be a watch-along because I will be away.
And on the Late Leeds show, we've got Leeds Lately. What have you got coming up, Max? What are you doing?
Well, we've got North Stand signing.
Yes, that's what I like to see. Competitor.
Yeah, I love that. Sorry, that's got me that.
You can tell that was funny because Joe's so tired.
Oh my God.
It's because he's delirious. He's
Yeah, exactly. No, stand sign.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, live watch along for the Brighton game, and then Tuesday night against Everton, there will be a match day vlog.
Look, I've said everything that needs to be said. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. All the channel links of everyone here will be in the description. Thanks very much. And roll the credits. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.